Last few class we discussed about the coherent detection of signal in AWGN in presence of the AWGN channel. So basically now we'll discuss about the specific data transmission for the specific systems. Okay. So basically in the digital communication, the three type of modulation is there: ASK, FSK, and PSK. So amplitude phase shifting, and frequency shifting. Okay, so today we'll discuss about the phase shifting. Okay, so the easiest form for the phase shifting is the binary phase shifting. Okay, so in the binary phase shifting, there are two signals we are using. One is your 0 and on the 1. So for representing basically the pair of signal, that S1T and S2T is used for representing binary symbol 1 and 0 respectively. So that means in the binary there are two signals is there, or two signals. So for representing the two signals, how many basic function is required? There are relation between the n and m. So what is the n over here and what is the m over here? Value of the n and value of m, capital N, capital M. So capital N equal to how much and capital M equal to how much for the binary phase shifting? Anyone? So basically n is indicating the number of orthogonal function is required, orthogonal basic function is required, and m is the how many symbols is there. So how many symbols or how many signals is there? So what is the value of m over here? Okay, m equal to 2 and n equal to 1. Okay, so now that we have a pair of signal S1T and S2T, and S1T is represented by the square root of 2 EB by TB cos of 2 pi FCT, where EB is the energy per single bit, means transmitted signal energy per bit, and TB is the bit duration, FC is the carrier frequency, and normally the FC have taken FC equal to NC by T P. So this is the FC, whatever the FC or carrier frequency we take in terms of the means integer multiplication of the time on by bit duration. So that means the FC has a relation with the bit duration. And similarly, for the signal 2 S to T, we represent there is a phase shift of 180 degree. That means we can write that 2 EB by TB cos 2 pi FC T plus pi, that's equal to minus of this. And definitely the T is belongs to 0 to TB, a bit duration. Okay. So now this equation S1T and S2T is referred as the antipodal signal. Antipodal means they are in the opposite phase. So that's why it is an antipodal signal. So now we'll discuss about the signal space diagram of the binary phase shifting or BPSK. So as I told over there, there is only one basic function is there, and the basic function, the single basic function phi on t is defined by the 2 by TB cos 2 pi FCT. So now if we want to represent the signal S1T, so we can write the S1T is that equation, can we write S1T is equal to square root of EB into phi on T. Okay. So that means the S1T is represented in terms of the basic function, and the basic function have the unit energy. Okay. Similarly, we can represent the S2T, and S2T equal to minus EB square phi on T. phi on t. Okay. So now for these two signals, okay, we can calculate the coordinates of the two message points. So that means in the coordinate or in the z space, where it will a signal space where it does these two signal will be placed. So now we can define the S11 equal to 0 to TB S1 T phi on T dt, and if we solve that terms, we will get plus of EB under plus of square root of EB. Similarly, we can define the S21, that's equal to again 0 to TB integration of 0 to TB S2T phi on T dt, and if we solve it, and we will get minus of square root of EB. Okay, so now if we plot these 2 points in this space, signal space, then we can point out these 2 points over here. The one point is belongs in this position and another point is this position. These are the two message points. And phi 1 is a single basic function. So we have only one basic function over there. So we divided this signal space into two regions. One is your Z1 and second one is your Z2. Because only we know how many the number of Z region is same as the number of symbol present in the system. Okay, so there will be two signal region. So we divide, there will be a decision boundary. So that means we put the decision boundary over here and it is at 0. Okay, so from there, if any means when the signal we received at the receiver, if any points belong to the Z1 region, then we will consider the S1 is sent. If any point is belongs to the Z2 region, then it will be considered S2T is sent from the sender. Okay. So if we represent these two signals in waveform, so it will be look like this. For the S1, there is a zero phase shift, zero phase and the cos. So it will be this, and this is the TB. Okay. Similarly, for the S2, this will be the signals on 80-degree phase shift. If we compare these two signals, there is a 120-degree of phase shift. And what is the amplitude of the signal? That 2 EB by TB. Okay. And in this figure, NC is how many? So as I told, the FC equal to your NC by TB. Okay. So what is the NC value for this figure? The NC value has taken as the 2. So NC equal to 2 is taken. That's why there is a 2 cycles of the signal is there. If the NC value equal to 3, then there will be 3 cycles like this. Okay. So now we need to find out the so basically there is a two thing is there. We need to transmit the BPSK signal and the coherent receiver. So we'll discuss one by one. So generation first one is the this figure. It will give us the generation of your BPSK signal, and this one is the coherent detection of the BPSK signal. Okay. So now for this, for describe this, what we required, two things we required at the receiver. On, if we look at the receiver, what are the two things is required? One is the correlators is required, and second one is the basic decision device is required for the coherent detection. So, and for the transmitter, what are the requirement? Two things is required. One is the polar energy level of encoder and product modulator. So at the transmitter, the binary data sequence will enter into the polar non-return to zero level encoder. So if any signal enter into the polar non-return to zero encoder, what should be the value of this? Do you remember what is the polar non-return to zero line coding? So there are many type of encoder. Line coding is there. Line coder. So unipolar, NRZ, unipolar RZ, polar NRZ, polar RZ, bipolar NRZ, then Manchester, like this. So do you remember? So what should be the signal for the polar NRZ? Onuj got Onuj.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Hello.
for the yes,
So
for the
in polar
polar.
NRZ, the ones are represented by positive amplitude and zeros are represented by negative amplitude.
Okay, good. So as the Onus told, basically for representing one, we take the positive value. So if this is representing one, and this is representing zero. Okay. So if we take, this is the time axis, and this is your amplitude axis. Okay. So this value magnitude is there. So basically, when we discuss, we have taken A and minus A. So these are the two value, and this is the zero. So similarly, in the polar energy, what we will do, we will take the amplitude of the over there. How much amplitude we will consider over there? The what is the value for this system? Plus square root of minus square root of. What is that value? That is EB, energy per bit, and this is also EB. So these are the amplitude for representing 1 and 0. Okay. So now after that, what we are doing, because you see in the binary, yeah, or BPSK signal ST, what is the expression for the ST? ST equal to your, we have written that EB into phi 1T. So that is the expression for your ST. Okay. So that means we are generating the EB over there, and we are multiplying that symbols or this line coder with the basic function phi 1T, and the basic function phi 1T equal to square root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi FCT. So that means here we will get that expression EB, and there will be the plus minus, because that plus minus will come depending on the input over there. If it is 1, then it is plus. If it is 0, then it is minus. Okay. So now in that way we are generating the BPSK signal, and if we look at that generation of the BP signal or ST, we can say this is working as a carrier if we compare with the DB double sideband suppressed carrier. Okay. So DSB-SC signal, if we compare with the DS double sideband suppressed carrier, if we compare with this signal, okay, we can say this is acting as a carrier. Okay, so now in the coherent detection, the receiver, what is there? So first, whatever the signal will receive, this is the received signal. It will multiply with the locally generate basic function phi1t, and if we do the integration, the whole this whole thing is give us the correlator. Okay, so correlator, from the correlator output we will get the different elements of S1 value, and if we put that output, correlated output, to the decision device, then we'll get the corresponding output. And we have set the threshold in the decision device akin to 0, because if you see this space diagram, in the space diagram, this is basically the threshold value we set, and the threshold value is considered or set to 0. So that's why in the coherent receiver, that for we define the threshold value equal to 0 for the decision device at the coherent receiver or coherent detector. Okay. So now how the decision device will work? So whenever a signal will comes over there, okay, and we'll get some value, the S1. If the S1 value is greater than the threshold value, then it will be choose as a 1. If it is the input value of the decision device is less than 0, then it will be choose as a 0. Okay. So now is there any doubt to understand when we transmitting a signal through this signal, the BPSK signal through the AWGN channel? So there is a possibility of error. Okay. Now we'll discuss the error probability for the binary PSK. Okay. And in this case, we are using the coherent detection. Okay. So basically, as I in this Z reasons, so two reason is there. One is your Z1 for the signals or S1T. So Z1 is belongs to 0 to infinity plus infinity, and what is the value of x1? X1 equal to integration of 0 to t st phi 1 t dt. Okay. So now if we calculate on, or we want to calculate the probability when we are get conditional probability density function for a random variable S1 given the symbol 0, that is symbol 0 means your signal S2 was transmitted. Okay. So we need to calculate what is the value of the S1 when we are transmitting 0. So basically this formula already we discussed earlier. So this term is coming the issue using the Gaussian distribution when we discuss the probability conditional probability density function. So basically you will that expressions is basically coming from the your okay, the statistical characteristics of the correlator outputs. So basically from there we are getting that expression. Okay. So that was discussed earlier. Okay. So what is the value of G here? G is the symbol which is transmitted, and we are getting the x1. Okay. So now in this expression, if already we calculate what is the value of S21, so if we replace the value of S21 and S21 equal to, earlier we have calculated S21 equal to minus square root of EB and S11 equal to plus square root of EB. So we are putting this value over there in this equation. Okay. So now if we put this value over there, we will get that expression. Okay. So now the conditional probability is the receiver decided in favor of symbols on when 0 is transmitted. So normally that conditional probability we represent by the P of 1 0. So 1 is the output value or in is the send value. Okay. So this conditional probability P10 equal to 1 by square root of pi n naught integration of 0 to infinity, okay, exponential of this term into dx1. So basically we know the probability, conditional probability or probability is the integration of your conditional density, means probability density function. If we do the integration of the conditional probability density function, then it will give us the probability. So we are doing the integration over there. So that means we are doing the integration for this function with respect to S1. Okay. So now if we consider or put z equal to this value, that 2 by n naught x1 plus eb. So that means what we are doing, we are simplifying the expression. That means we are changing the variables over there. Okay. So now we have put z equal to this value. So now what will be the output or equivalent value of this expression? Anyone who will say? Just tell me what should be the expression when we replace or we transform the dx1 in terms of z.
Square root of n naught by 2 dz dx1 equal to.
dx1 equal to square root of 2
No,
n naught
n naught by 2.
n naught by 2 dz. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that value we got. So now if we replace over there, okay. So that means n naught by 2, if we put the n naught, and what should be the limit? When x1 equal to 0, that time it will be your, what should be the value? Square root of 2 eb by n naught. Yes or no? When x1 equal to 0, then z equal to is coming square root of 2 eb by n naught, and when x1 equal to infinity, because we need to change the limits also in the integration. So when x1 equal to infinity, z will be infinity. Okay. So that means, and uh, from there we will get, what we will get? We will get 1 by square root of 2 pi integration of this square root of 2 eb by n naught infinity into exponential of z square by z square
by 4.
By 4 or by 2?
By 2.
By 2. By 2.
By 2 and dz. So we are getting that expression. Okay. So basically this expression, so basically we will get that expression. It is same as that, and this expression is same as the q function. So basically this expression, if we have any expression like this, we can represent by the q function, and the q function, it will be equal to your square root of q function of square root of 2 EB by n naught. That is the definition of the q function. So you have to means we need to remember this thing, because it is not we did discuss this q function, and I don't know that you study this q function or not. Okay. So basically, you just remember that thing. This is the expression for the q function. So we are representing the P10 conditional probability, this one equal to as a q function, and the q function equal to square root of 2 EB by n naught. Okay. So now this is the error we received 1 when 0 is sent. Okay. Now we are receiving 0 when 1 is sent, is similar to that expression. That means if we want to calculate P01, now we need to calculate, because both the probability we need to consider. That means when we are sending 0, we are receiving 1, and second one is that when we are sending. Okay. So first one we have seen, when we are sending 0 and receiving 1, this is the probability, conditional probability, and this is when we are sending 1, we are receiving 0. So both are the, and 0 and 1 in the binary sequence are the equal, both have the same probability, means it is half. For 0 and 1, both are half. So that means we will get this P10 is the same as that value. Okay. Yes or no? So now if we calculate the averaging the conditional error probability P10 and P01, then we can find the average probability of symbols error or equivalent BER equal to this expression PE total error, it will be this. Okay. So this plus this by 2 different probability. So we'll get that this value only as a error probability of symbols error. Okay. Now is there any doubt? Go down. Okay. So now from there, if you increase the transmitted signal energy per bit, that means EV, for a particular value of the spectrum noise density, okay, N naught by 2. In this case, what will happen? The probability of error, it will increase or decrease. It will reduce, because if you see this function over there, so if we increase for a particular value of n naught, if we increase the value of this, so what will happen? It will decrease, or P will decrease when we are increasing the EV. Okay. So now we'll discuss about the power spectrum of the BPSK signal.
So how
So
it
this,
is,
because you see the in the Q function, if we put over here, okay, if we solve it, because it is a function of Q, so it is not the linear function. So from the simple concept, two thing is there. So what is the SNR? Signal power by the noise power. Okay. When we increasing the signal power for a keeping the noise power constant, the SNR value will improve. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that means the probability of error will reduce.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that means probability of error means what is the probability for getting an error where we are sending 0 and getting 1, or we are sending 1 getting 0. So this value will reduce. So basically, so if you consider it is a linear function, it's not a linear function because there is a Q function. So that means from the general terms, if we increase the energy for keeping the n not equal to constant, if we increase the value of EV, so definitely the SNR will decrease, and from there PE will decrease. SNR will increase, and if the SNR increase, then PE will be decreased. Okay. So now we'll discuss the power spectrum density or power spectrum for the BPSK signal. Okay. So basically, if we denote the pulse shape of the BPSK signal by the GT, and GT is represented by this expression. This is square root of 2 EB by TB when T belongs to 0 to TB and 0 otherwise. Okay. So normally if we want to have that signal GT, and depending on that transmitted input or binary sequence 1 and 0, we will get what should be the value of GT. So when we are transmitting 1, then it is a plus GT. When we are transmitting 0, then it is a minus GT. Okay. So now in this, from this figure or the signal, okay. So basically the signals are we are getting from the GT. So we can get the power spectrum density for a random binary variables, okay, is equal. So since there is a two symbols is there, or binary symbols 1 and 0, and we have that value, so we can calculate the power spectrum density by doing the two way or one way, that is, if we calculate the energy spectrum density over the bit duration and divide by the TB. Okay, so that will give us the power spectrum of the signal GT. Okay, so energy spectrum density of signal GT. So basically, what is the shape of the GT? If we draw the shape of the GT, what should be the equivalent shape of the GT? It will be from this function,
Rectangular.
rectangular. So GT will be the rectangular. Now, if we do the, or if we want to calculate the energy spectrum, that means we are doing the Fourier transform of that GT, and since the GT is a rectangular function, what we will get sync as a energy spectrum density, sync function as a energy spectrum density. So basically we'll get this value for the power spectrum density. Okay, so everything is there, the energy spectrum density by the time. So finally we are getting the power spectrum density SDF, that's equal to this function, and as it told, this is a sinc function. Basically this is provide the sinc function. Okay, so we'll get this is equal to 2 EB sinc square TBT. Okay, so what is the observation we can conclude from there for the by BPSK? The power spectrum density is symmetrical about the vertical axis. Okay, that means both sides the power spectrum will be the same. Okay, so the power spectrum will go or cross the zero when f equal to plus minus 1 p plus minus 2 by dp like this.
Sir,
So
can
and
again why sinc square? Sinc square can means only sinc will be there.
see, okay. So basically, you see the GT square magnitude, the Fourier transform of the pulse function amplitude. This is the square root is there. So basically, due to this square root, we will get the square terms if we solve it. So okay. So basically, what is the energy spectrum density? Energy spectrum density means uh, what is the energy? Integration of 0 to infinity g square t dt. So basically, these terms implies that the energy spectrum density is the squared of the Fourier transform of GT. That is the your energy spectrum density. Energy spectrum density. This is equal to Fourier transform of GT square. Okay, so that gives us the energy spectrum density. So this is your sinc function, the Fourier transform of the rectangular pulse is the sinc function, sinc of your phi PB if. So this value will get, and when we are doing the squaring, we get the square terms over there. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So now this is the same sign of sine square. This term is limited the maximum value of unity. So that means SD fall of the inverse square of the frequency f over there. So now if we draw the spectrum over there, so always it will be the positive value. Okay. So this is the spectrum, power spectrum density for the BPSK signal. Okay, this one. So it's started from 1, that because the maximum value of sine equal to 1, so it is started from the 1, and as we discussed that it will be your when it will cross or touch the 0 plus minus 1 by TB plus minus 2 by TB like this. So it is touching the plus 1 plus 2 and it is normalized with the TB. Okay, FTB. So that's why it is touching this point. and it is always the positive because it is taking the square value. So there is a normally sinc function, there is a like this. It will come, then it will goes down like this. But when we are doing the squaring, it will be always the positive side. Okay.